Well, hey guys, welcome to Star Wars on High. Thank you for stopping by. We are back, and if you haven't watched my Mando review, I'll say it here again. I apologize for being late. I've been sick. You might be able to hear it in my voice. So ironically, because I was homesick, I got to watch both of these earlier than normal, but I was just so low on energy I couldn't even make a video. So it's actually late, but I appreciate you guys coming and watching this. I know you've had a chance to see a bunch of other content creators, so it's really nice you wanted to hear my thoughts on the episode. So I do appreciate that. But guys, I gotta tell you, Mando's gonna get all the hype. Mando season 3, episode 1, a lot of fun. Great to be back. But Bad Batch episode 11, it was the dub. It was the big winner yesterday. It was called Metamorphosis. It was an absolute, to me, I don't know if this is a community's feelings, but to me, this was an absolute home run. So I'm going to be spoilers here. If you haven't watched it yet, it's one of the best episodes of the season so far. One of my favorite we've seen in a long time because it leans heavy into some sci-fi horror elements. It's like we're watching the first Alien film. They're definitely alluding to with the drool and the creature climbing around the air vents. I absolutely love how the score as well as the visuals were just so tuned for the horror vibes. It was just so well done. And this episode brings in some huge things. First of all, we get the return of the Zillo Beast, which I love the fact that it grows. I didn't realize that from the show. It becomes this giant monster eating electricity. Just fantastic to see. And I love how it was portrayed on screen. But we get Mount Tantus back. We get our first trip back since the season finale last year. And we are introduced to this new character, Dr. Hemlock, who is going to take over this cloning initiative, and he seems cold and calculated. And we actually learn through this episode that the Zillo Beast they cloned was actually commanded by Palpatine before he was the Emperor. So he's been researching this since going back to the Clone Wars days. And to make things even more sinister, the reason they destroyed Kamino is not because they didn't want anyone else to clone. They just wanted to be the only people with the cloning technology. And I really like that kind of conspiracy planning feel to this episode that you see a lot in the Bad Batch. And so you're watching this episode that has just fantastic tension, fantastic kind of horror elements, big threat in this Zillo Beast. And then underneath it all, there's this big clone conspiracy with Mount Tantus and the work that Palpatine is doing. I think it is such a phenomenal episode. And then at the end, it's revealed that they're trying to get more info from the Kaminoans, and so the plan is to go capture this favored clone, Omega, to hopefully get the Kaminoans to talk. And that's how the Bad Batch are going to get looped back in, and I think that's where Crosshair is going to get an assignment. Now, it's interesting because Rampart is gone at this point, so who's commanding Crosshair? Don't exactly know, but I think this is how we return him to the show. One thing I was worried about, I put a poll out on YouTube, and I've talked about it briefly on Twitter, but I seem to be the only one concerned. I'm concerned that Bad Batch is going to get just completely overwhelmed by Mando. As a huge Star Wars fan, I love that I get them both, but I think for the general public, and maybe more casual fans, especially because the last few episodes of Bad Batch have been slower, I think it might just get completely lost in the shuffle. And I think that's a real bummer because this episode was one of the best I think we've seen in the Bad Batch so far, at least to me. I thought it was just fantastically executed and set up some huge plot points that are coming. I think one other big takeaway I have is I don't think Bad Batch is wrapping anytime soon. I think they're setting up for a couple more seasons, honestly. And this episode, at least one more season. I think this episode continued to make me feel that way. I think back to the earlier clone conspiracy episodes where, we found this new assassin clone who we don't know his origins. He ended up, biting his electric pill to take him out. So there's that plot point. There's the Mount Tantus cloning. What's going on there? I think we're setting up for some really interesting things. I really like what the show is doing. So tip of the cap, Mando season 1, hype, awesome, really, really fun. But I think Bad Batch actually won the day. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. How do you like this episode? How do you like the show so far? I feel like I haven't seen a lot of people talking about it just with all the excitement for Mando yesterday, which is understandable. But again, we appreciate you guys so much. Make sure you like and subscribe. We'll be talking about all things Mando Bad Batch over the coming weeks. See y'all again very soon.